Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are the Lions.
Yesterday, backup infielder Cesar Izturis and Jack Hanahan played a big role in the Reds' 13-4 victory over the Seattle Mariners. Today, All-Stars Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips will try to lead the Reds to a series win against the Seattle Ball Club in the finale of this week-long homestand here at Great American Ballpark. Yes, the sun is shining for the first time this weekend as these two teams get together to wrap up this weekend three-game series. Reds trying to win their first ever three-game get-together against the Seattle Ball Club. Big day for the Reds yesterday as the Cubs beat the Pirates, the top team in the NL Central, so the Reds gained ground, now just 3.5 out of first, 2.5 behind the second-place Cardinals. And hi, and a pleasant good afternoon, and welcome to Reds Baseball. Along with Chris Wells, Jim Kelch here at Great American Ballpark. Reds try to do, as I mentioned, something they have never done, and that is win a series against this Seattle team. And they'll try to do it, Chris, after learning yesterday, two All-Star starters this year, Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips.
Well, they're voted in by the fans, Jim, and they really deserve the honor of being All-Stars. I mean, after all, you tell me a better second baseman in the National League than Brandon Phillips, and then try to tell me there's another better first baseman in the league than Joey Votto. Phillips is having a great year. Votto having a very good year. Good, solid All-Stars representing the Reds. We like that.
Of course, now, we don't want to forget Aroldis Chapman. Chapman was a member of the All-Star team last year, and he's a member of the All-Star team this year. But before we take a look at him, here are some of the numbers that you see from Brandon and Joey. Now, Aroldis Chapman, second time in 2 years that he has been picked as an All-Star.
You know, it's interesting that the two guys that were chosen by the fans also set the table for Aroldis Chapman. I mean, here's a guy that is dominant. His strikeout numbers are off the charts, and I imagine that Bruce Bochy's thinking, hey, I want to win this ball game. He knows how important it is, knowing that, you know, he's won the World Series 2 out of the last 3 years, how important home field advantage is in the World Series. So you want to bring the best team out there, that's got to include Aroldis Chapman.
All right, well, this three-game series, the finale includes a pitching matchup of right-hander Bronson Arroyo going for his 8th win for Cincinnati against veteran traveling left-hander Joe Saunders of the Seattle Mariners.
written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
There is some clouds overhead, but it's great to see the sun come out here at Great American Ballpark as these two teams wrap up this 3-game series and the Reds close out this 7-game homestand. Let's get more in depth and look at the weather. Today's weather brought to you by Tri-State Orthopedics. It's 83 degrees here at game time. Winds are calm, sunny and clear. We should be good to go this afternoon in terms of getting this game in without any rain. 60% humidity here at Great American Ballpark. Well, Bronson Arroyo gets a start for the Reds. Last time out, Chris, a complete game rain-shortened win against the Giants.
You know, as he said after the ball game, 20 years from now, when people are looking back at my complete games, no one's going to make a note and say, oh, that one was rain-shortened. He was very good against the Giants, as you see, had the breaking ball working, and he even took care of the left-handed hitters. And that's important because the Seattle Mariners this afternoon are going to run a lot of left-handers against Arroyo.
Now, Joe Saunders, his numbers don't show it, but he's pitching pretty darn well.
Well, he got really bombed a couple of starts ago. That was against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But other than that, his numbers have been very good. He's not overpowering. Fastball up at right around 88, 90 miles an hour. But he's got all the pitches, and he is, just like Bronson Arroyo, a very good competitor.
Now the Reds wrap up this homestand with this game this afternoon. Coming into this one, 4 wins in 5 tries. Try to get another one here today against the Seattle Mariners. Brought to you by the Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling truck in America, 36 straight years. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Downtown Cincinnati and then inside Great American Ballpark, where the Reds have played very well this year. This is already the 46th home game of the season. The Reds have a 30-15 record here at home. They take on the Seattle Mariners here today, and here's a lineup that they present. Brad Miller, Nick Franklin, and Kyle Seager, who's had a very good series. He's in the 3 spot. Veteran Raul Ibanez in the cleanup spot. Justin Smoke gets his first start of the series. Then Hendy Chavez. Mike Zunino has caught all 3 games. Dustin Ackley and the left-hander Joe Saunders. They will face the right-hander Bronson Arroyo.
Bronson ranks his start number 18 on the year. This is start number 341 in his career. And, he made a comment after he pitched against the Oakland A's. It wasn't a great game for Arroyo. And he said, boy, those Oakland A's, they ran a lot of left-handers up there against me, and they did a good job in their game plan. Well, the Mariners are going to run even more left-handers up against Bronson Arroyo this afternoon. I think the Oakland A's ran up 7 against Arroyo out there in Oakland. And here today, you're going to see 8, including the pitcher Joe Saunders. So they've got a couple of switch hitters. They've got left-handers in the lineup. But Bronson Arroyo, when he gets here at Great American Ballpark, he loves a home cooking right here in Cincinnati. How about that record this year of 6-1 versus 1-5 on the road?
Well, Bronson's had 7 straight quality starts here at home, the second longest streak of his career at Great American Ballpark, and he guns for victory number 8 on the season. Lifetime 1-1 in 4 games, 3 starts against Seattle. And he'll get the top of the order. Brad Miller, Nick Franklin, Kyle Seager to get it going here on this Sunday afternoon. Game time temperature here at the ballpark, 79 degrees. Miller hitting .231 with an RBI. They've led off all 3 games of this 3-game series. In the series, 2 out of 6. Calling the balls and strikes this afternoon is Mike Estabrook. Jerry Lane is the first base umpire and crew chief. Hunter Wendelstedt out at second. Alan Porter over at third. Bronson Arroyo as a Red. Chris mentioned overall 341st start as a Red. Start number 251 in his career, closing in on number 9 all time. Pete Donahue 253. He should tie that mark right after the All-Star break. In terms of wins, he is only 2 victories shy of becoming the 19th pitcher in Reds franchise history to amass 100 victories. Is at 98 and 88 in his Reds career. And he gets a strikeout to get it going of Brad Miller. Take a look at the Reds defensively behind Arroyo. Brought to you by your Ford dealers. Chris Heisey making only his 2nd start in the field since coming off the DL. He's in left. Chu and Bruce in center and right. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, Votto, third to first. The battery of Arroyo and Hannigan. So a strikeout of Miller, and now it's Nick Franklin. Started Friday, had that 2-run homer in the first inning. Did not start in yesterday's game. Did appear late as a pinch hitter and struck out. 288 with 5 and 17 his power numbers. Frazier in on the edge of the grass. Rookie at the top of the order. Miller, Franklin, and that third rookie, Mike Zunino, the catcher, who has been behind the plate in all 3 games of this series.
Well, it's not very likely that any of these rookies have ever seen a pitcher quite like Bronson Arroyo. A guy that changes speeds, and they'll see all different kinds of pitches from every different arm angle.
In the air and chased by Bruce. He's near the wall, and that's a home run. A first-inning home run for the 2nd time in 3 days for Nick Franklin, and for the 3rd time in 3 games in this series for Seattle. Nick Franklin, a 2-run homer in the first Friday. Kyle Seager, a 2-run homer in the first yesterday. And Franklin here in the first inning this afternoon.
The good news about this one is, unlike the other 2 home runs Seattle has hit, including Franklin's in the first night here, there's nobody on base, but Bronson Arroyo just gets that pitch up and out over the plate. Franklin gets home run number 6. And I'll tell you what, after talking to some of these Seattle youngsters in their clubhouse today and yesterday, they would love to be hitting in this ballpark, because a ball like that hit in Seattle dies at the warning track.
Now, that didn't get over by much, but get into the seats it did out there in the sun deck in right center. Seattle, for the 3rd consecutive game, has jumped in front here in the first. Number 6 for Nick Franklin. Kyle Seager now has had a very good series, 3 for 5 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. All of those RBIs came yesterday. $13 home runs for him, second on this team behind Raul Ibanez, who waits on deck. All-Star Phillips diving to his right, stops that ball, but cannot come up with it and make a throw, and Seager is aboard with an infield hit.
Well, a base hit all the way, no doubt, but nobody more disappointed about not being able to make that play and thrill the crowd here than Brandon Phillips. I mean, the guy is juiced about being on the All-Star team. He is obviously a guy that takes pride in his defense, and our Performance Honda slow-mo shows a real good effort right there by Brandon, but couldn't get the handle on it.
And it wasn't long after he was named as the second baseman, all-star starter for the Reds and the National League team yesterday that he made that diving play to his left to rob Michael Saunders of a base hit. Here's their home run leader now, the veteran Raul Ibanez, 257 with 21 homers, 49 runs batted in. We mentioned it the other day. He becomes the first 40-year-old or older to have 20 home runs or more before the All-Star break in Major League history. Ibanez is 41 years old.
Well, he's also the only player on this Seattle team that has ever hit a home run off Bronson Arroyo. He's faced him a few times. He's faced him 12 times overall. And one of those 5 hits that he's had has been a home run.
Ground ball here could end the inning. Ibanez has hit into 5 double plays this year.
Well, Arroyo, you know, even though he throws a lot of slow curveballs, there's never been a real ground ball pitcher. He's getting more ground balls this year than ever before, but I think so are a number of other Reds pitchers. I think a lot of that is due to Brian Price and his emphasis on keeping the ball down in his ballpark and that use of that two-seam fastball that Arroyo's been doing.
Kozar cheating up the middle and off the line by a good amount over at third is Frazier. Now Bronson's fallen behind 3-1. Seattle won here on Friday 4-2. Reds came from behind yesterday, trailed 3-1 after 3, won 13-4.
Well, you know, I think that it's probably a good idea to cheat on those left-handed hitters when Arroyo's on the mound. Get that shortstop over by the second base bag, because everything Arroyo throws you, about 80% of what he throws you is slow, and then about 50% of that 80% are breaking balls that are coming in toward you. Very difficult to try to hit the ball the other way.
Runner going on the 3-2. Mentioned that 13-4 win yesterday. The 13 runs, only the 5th time the Reds have ever scored at least 13 against an American League opponent during interleague play. Play that began back in 1997. The most they ever scored was the 16 they put up against the Mariners back in 2007. That's the game in which Aaron Harang was the winner, and prior to yesterday, the only time the Reds had defeated Seattle. Again with a runner going, a line drive in the left. Heisey plays it on one hop and will get it back in, and the Mariners get their 3rd hit of the 1st inning.
Pretty good bit of hitting right there by Ibanez. As soon as I say that he's hard to hit the ball the other way, Ibanez takes a changeup. And actually that ball is off the plate right there, but it's up enough so that he can just flail at it and get it down the left field line.
Seattle has an opportunity here for a big inning. 2 on, 1 out, a run home on the home run by Franklin. Here's Justin Smoke making his first start of the series, switch hitting first baseman.
Now there's the changeup grip. That's a typical circle change where you kind of make an OK sign with your index and your thumb, and you turn that ball over. You pronate your arm early and try to get a little spin down and away, and he did that, but just elevated it, and that's what Ibanez hit to left field.
Mariners trying to get Smoke on track. He missed a good portion of the month of June with a strained right oblique. Did appear yesterday in the game as an 8th inning pinch hitter, took a called third strike. His numbers way down from where they have been the last 2 years, in particular last year where he hit 19 home runs. Goes the way of Arroyo, borderline pitch. Of the 3 top teams in the National League Central, the Reds are the first to get underway. The Cardinals will play at 2:15 at home against Miami. Pirates at Chicago. That game starts at 2:20 Eastern time. Alfonso Soriano, a big day yesterday for the Cubs, helping Chicago defeat Pittsburgh. That throw looked like it caught the runner Seager right in the head or neck area on the throw from Arroyo. Ooh, right in the right shoulder. Smoke facing Arroyo for the first time. The Seattle club goes home 7 games at Safeco Field before the All-Star break. They'll have Boston in for 4, then the Angels for 3. Reds, of course, go out and have a visit to Milwaukee at Miller Park for 3, then down to Atlanta for 4, leading to the All-Star break. Eric Wedge's team comes in 11 under, 38 and 49, 12.5 behind the first place Oakland club, 6.5 ahead of the last place Houston team. Foul ball. Won't hit it hard out in front of it. And the runners retreat. Seager to second and Ibanez to first. Interesting note on Bronson Arroyo. I mentioned earlier he makes his 5th appearance, 4th start against Seattle. That one relief appearance was his first ever appearance as a Boston Red Sox player back in late August of 2003. Boston won that game 8-1. He went 3 innings out of the pen and picked up the one and only save of his major league career in that game against Seattle. Saved that game back in late August of 03 for Pedro Martinez. Called third strike. Loaded it up there. Smoke took it. Out number 2.
That's really a good way to put it, that he floated it up there. It's exactly what he did. You see he's trying to pitch Smoke outside, and he just throws a little changeup. Look at the backup action on a changeup right there. You've got to really get that thing going. You know, when you talk to Bronson Arroyo about his pitches, I say, hey, all the FX numbers, those numbers that are kept by computers and so on, what your pitches are, how hard you throw them and so on, they say you're throwing more sliders and curveballs this year. And he laughs and says, you know what, I don't throw a slider. He said, what I do is I craft my curveballs. I throw them from all different locations, all different speeds. So some of them may resemble a different type of pitch, but it's actually just a different type of curveball.
He crafts his curveball.
He crafts his curve. I've never heard that before, but that's really a great way of putting it for Arroyo, because that's what he did right there with the changeup. I mean, to throw a changeup inside to a left-hander is something the right-handers have never been taught to do. But he's been able to reinvent himself and do that very effectively.
Here's his 30th pitch of the inning.
That's where he normally throws a changeup. Kind of down and away. That's where all right-handers are taught to do it, because lefties will normally pull off the ball like Chavez does right here. Chavez steps in the bucket a little bit and he just can't get to that pitch. But against Smoke, the previous batter, he threw that ball up and in, and that's how he got him. So if you're a young pitcher at home and you're not blessed with a fastball that is the fastest in the league, chances are you're not going to grow up and throw 98 miles an hour. Bronson Arroyo and Mike Leake are the two guys you need to watch, and watch very closely.
There are other ways to do it, is what you're saying. Here comes Chu. He got it. Sliding. He makes the catch of that line drive by Chavez. And the Mariners settle for one on the home run by Nick Franklin here in the top of the first. In front early. Here's Dusty's lineup card this afternoon. Chu, Cozart back in the 2 spot, then Votto, Phillips, Bruce, and Frazier. Izzy getting the start. He's out in left field. Then Hannigan, then Bronson Arroyo against the 32-year-old left-hander Joe Saunders on the mound for Seattle.
Joe is a veteran, no doubt about it. At age 32 years old, he's pitched for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, although back in those days they were the Anaheim Angels. He's pitched for Arizona, and he signed a free agent contract this year for 1 year with the Seattle Mariners.
Interesting story for 2012 for Joe Saunders. As you see his home and road split, we showed you Arroyo's, and Saunders on the road, almost a 6 ERA. Joe was with the Arizona Diamondbacks earlier last year, was traded to Baltimore, helped them make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. In fact, he started that American League wild card game last year against Texas. Was 3-3 in 7 starts with Baltimore, and as Chris said, after the season was over, signed a 1-year deal with Seattle. So here he is against Chu, followed by Cozart and Votto, the bottom of the first. Chu at 273 with a dozen home runs, 29 runs batted in. In the series, 3 out of 8. Yesterday for Chu, he had a pair of hits, so he's had 3 2-hit games in the last 4. Toward the middle and a base hit. And the numbers don't indicate it. He's at 162 against lefties, but lately he's been seeming to do much better against southpaws.
There was a while there that Shin-Soo Choo really looked helpless against left-handers, but that's not all that bad of a pitch by Joe Saunders. A little breaking ball going away from him, and I think the key for Choo is to stay right in there. The more you pull out, if your right shoulder begins to pull out, you're never going to hit a breaking ball off a lefty. He stayed in there nicely that time, trying to use the whole field, and it worked for him.
So a good start for the Reds. A leadoff base hit. Choo has now hit in 5 in a row. Double play ball.
That didn't take long.
Bases are empty. Hit hard by Kozar, but right at Seager. Take a look at the defense of this Seattle club. We saw them turn the double play there. Brought to you by your Ford dealers, Ibanez, Ackley, and Chavez in the outfield. Seager, Miller, Franklin, Smoke across the infield. A battery of Saunders and Zunino. Seattle turns. It's only its second double play of this series. They come into the series at 88 double plays turned, third most in the American League. That was Taylor made around the horn at 5.43. Two out for Votto. Starts the day at 322, which is 4th best in the National League. Votto and Phillips, of course, elected as starters for the National League All-Star team. Joey will be making a second straight start. Brandon his first start. Aroldis Chapman out of the bullpen will be the 3rd member of the Reds going to the All-Star team.
This could really be an incredibly busy year for both Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips. If you think about starting the season in Goodyear, Arizona, and then going to the WBC and playing Brandon for the United States. Of course, Joey played for Canada. That lasted a while. You had to be in game condition for that when those games began. And then you get no break during the All-Star break, so you play right through those 3 games, where those 3 days when most of the other ball players around are getting some R&R. And hopefully the Reds will be in the postseason and deep into it.
Base hit for Votto. Had his 7-game hitting streak snapped yesterday when he went 0 for 3, although he was on base twice via the walk, and he gets the hit here. He's right near the top of the league and hits with 106.
You know, it's funny how the location of a ground ball can make or break your day. If he hits a ball exactly like that, about 4 feet to his left, that goes right to the first baseman. If he hits it about 10 feet to his right, it goes right to the second baseman. You find a hole and you're very happy. So there is a certain amount of good fortune when it comes to hitting a baseball.
Yeah, in terms of how hard they hit the ball, Kozart hit his much harder.
It seemed like that, yeah.
But right at Seager. So here's Phillips. Very appreciative of being voted in. You heard him talking on Reds Live prior to the game about appreciative of the fans voting him in as a starting second baseman for the National League side. Just over a week away now, the Major League All-Star game, 16th of July at Citi Field, New York. Seattle club did have a couple of representatives. We mentioned Felix Hernandez and Hisashi Iwakuma, both out of their starting rotation, named to the American League side.
Yeah, the Reds actually fortunate the way the rotation laid out for this 3-game series, that the Reds did not face neither Hernandez, the #1 starter, or the #2 starter. They saw 3, 4, and 5 here. So sometimes you get that break. That's why it's important to take advantage of this ball game.
Phillips had a hit yesterday and a run batted in. His RBI total sitting now at 64. Still 3rd in the National League behind Paul Goldschmidt at 73. Alan Craig at 68. Miguel Cabrera of Detroit at 88. Chris Davis of Baltimore at 85 RBIs. How about that? Votto takes off. Phillips hits it right behind him and right where the second baseman Franklin had been, and on into right. First and third with 2 out.
Well, on a 2-2 pitch, Joey Votto goes 1 pitch premature, meaning on a 3-2 pitch, you'd always be going with 2 out, but he sets up a little ground ball base hit there for Brandon Phillips. Not hit hard, but with the second baseman covering, that infield is wide open on the right side.
Another tying run 90 feet away, and here's another good RBI man, Jay Bruce. They picked up 3 runs batted in yesterday, a 2-run double, a ground out in the 8th inning. He's 1 shy of 60. 18 home runs, 59 runs batted in. To the right side, backhand pick, nicely done by Franklin, who gives it on to Miller. Force out of Phillips at second base, and the bottom of the first comes to a close. Column on the Reds, and be sure to visit the site tomorrow to vote for your favorite Reds All-Stars of all time and find out how you can be the next Fox Sports Ohio girl if you're female. Get complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports, brought to you by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Drive safe, spend less. Bronson Arroyo had a 32 pitch first inning. But through all that, gave up just the 1 run on the home run ball by Nick Franklin. Goes to work against Mike Zunino here in the top of the second. Joel Luckup, the stat guru that he is, comes up with this amazing bit of information. The 32 pitch first inning, the first inning of 30 pitches or more for Arroyo in a little bit over a year. Bronson will kick that ball, and what looked like it was going to be an easy out turns out to be a base runner to start the top of the second. That'll be an error on Bronson Arroyo.
A very rare error on a former Gold Glove Award winner. I mean, this ball comes off the bat spinning and spinning hard. I mean, it's got a lot of English on it because it was in foul territory, and I'm wondering if it was still spinning when Bronson Arroyo tried to pick it up. He got it, but just didn't look it into his hand. You know, the rule of thumb is that if the ball is still moving, you scoop it with your glove and your bare hand together. If it's stopped, at that point, you grab it with your hand. So he just didn't concentrate enough, and he's got a base runner.
Well, the leadoff man is on. The batter is Dustin Ackley. At any rate, the rest of that number, the first 30-pitch inning for Arroyo in over a year, he has thrown 226 and 2/3 innings between 30-pitch innings. That's how efficient he has been in the last year.
Well, it comes from throwing strikes. I mean, that's the whole thing right there. I mean, every pitching coach out there, that's the #1 mantra that they repeat over and over again. Throw strikes, throw strikes. Bronson Arroyo comes into this ball game having only walked 21 in 110 innings. And I got to say, probably 5 or 6 of those are situational walks where he didn't really want to face the batter that he walked, so he kind of put him on base. Not an intentional walk, but a pitch around type of walk, and then went after the next guy.
Double play ball to third. There's one. Safe at first base. Ackley beat it out. That ball wasn't quite hit as hard as Cozart's in the bottom of the first.
Well, plus Ackley is a left-handed batter, and he's a center fielder, so he runs above average right there. Good turn by Phillips. Good play all the way around the infield by Frazier and Phillips, but Ackley just simply outruns it.
So Ackley replaces Zunino on the bases. The batter, the pitcher, Joe Saunders. Hitless this year in 3 at-bats. Career-wise, a 135 hitter. Saunders' National League career included 2.5 years, almost 3 years with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mentioned last year that's where he began. At 21 starts there, was 6-10 with a 4.22 ERA. Then in August, cleared waivers, went to Baltimore, made 7 starts there, winning 3 times with an ERA of 3.6. Did start that American League wild card game against the Texas Rangers last year, was the winner, sending Baltimore into the best of 5 NLDS.
Shaking the cobwebs out.
He also made a start in that National League and that American League Division Series against the Yankees. He's out as he tries to bunt with 2 strikes. For 2 out. 3rd strikeout for Arroyo. He'll be one of only 300 fans to meet the 2013 Reds players and coaches as you collect their signatures on your very own keepsake baseball bat or jersey. Reserve your spot for the exclusive chance to create your own 2013 team signed memorabilia on Thursday, July the 18th at the inaugural Reds Ultimate Autograph Experience. Log on to Reds.com/autograph and find out how you can take part in the Ultimate Autograph Experience coming up here at Great American Ballpark. It'll be the day before games begin again after the All-Star break. Phillips will throw out Miller, and the top of the 2nd comes to a close. Moment of the game brought to you by Miller Lite. And as a reminder, if a Reds home run hits this Toyota sign during this afternoon's game, Barb Getz from Williamstown, Kentucky, proud owner of a 2013 Corolla, will win this beautiful new Tundra that's been on display all year here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by simply visiting your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Frazier to get it going in the bottom of the second. Didn't start in yesterday's game. Jack Hanahan jumped in there, and what a day he had. 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Frazier back in there today. Played Friday night, was 1 for 4. But he does bring an active hitting streak of 5 into this afternoon's contest. 10 home runs, 41 runs batted in for Frazier. He had that big first game of the homestand against San Francisco. RBI single in the second, 3-run homer in the third against Mike Kickham, getting the Reds off to that 8-1 victory as he takes a bad cut there.
Well, he just looked uncomfortable that entire at bat, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he's just diving in everything right there. I think he's looking for something away the entire at bat. Frazier is thinking that Joe Saunders is trying to get him out with that changeup going down and away, and he finally throws that little breaking ball down and in. And when your body's leaning one way and the pitch is coming into you, not much you can do but look bad.
So here's Heisey. Mentioned earlier, making only his second start in the field since coming off the disabled list when the team was out in Oakland. DH twice on the road trip. Started Wednesday against the Giants out in left field. Had a home run in that game. That came in the 6th inning against George Contos. Hard to third and Seager. 2 out. Interleague pitching rankings for this Seattle club, you see that they have the best ERA all time in interleague pitching, 3.63. Lowest opponent's batting average. They've really done a very good job in that area throughout the history of interleague play. 31 shutout victories. This being the 16th year of interleague play. This year, they're 5-8 in interleague baseball. Franklin throws out Hannigan, and the Reds go in order in the bottom of the second. Storylines brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Look at these ERAs at home for the Reds this year. Cueto, Arroyo, Bailey, Cingrani, all under 3. Leake and Latos right over 3. They've done a very good job at home. That's why they have, at 30-15, the best record at home in the National League in terms of wins at 30, and the second best winning percentage at home behind only the Atlanta club. They get it done here at GABP. All right, Arroyo now to start the third. Franklin, Seager, Ibanez, 2, 3, 4 in Eric Wedge's lineup. Franklin had that home run to right center in the first inning. Young man who's not been up in the big leagues yet, but for about 5 weeks, came up at the end of May. Home run ball up in the letters where it came in and across the plate, and he sent it out. Thought he got himself a little routine. Crosses the plate on those home run balls. His 6th of the year. Mentioned he came up at the end of May. Made his big league debut against San Diego. Former first-round pick.
Yeah, he does a little better job of pitching Nick Franklin this time through. Let's take a look at this pitch by pitch, or Mazda pitch by pitch. Bronson Arroyo, Nick Franklin. Remember, Franklin hit the home run, and he starts him off with a slow breaking ball, and eventually gets the count even with another good breaking ball that time. And I thought the interesting pitch here was this next one where he tries to come inside with the changeup. He misses. Finally gets him on an 86-mile-an-hour fastball down and away from a sidearm action, and Bronson Arroyo will throw everything but the kitchen sink up there.
Well, he gets the leadoff man and now deals with Kyle Seager. Hit that ball sharply to Phillips right his first time. Brandon smothered it. Had no way to make the throw, and so Seager's now hitting 7 in a row. Kyle Seager, a 3rd-round pick back in 2009 by Seattle. They also drafted his younger brother earlier this year. Seager's brother, Justin, drafted in the 12th round 2013 by the Mariners. They're out of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Seager family. Homers, 86 RBIs a year ago. So from a home run perspective, he's a little ahead of pace. 2012. Pitches in a row. He tries to go backdoor on Seager, who won't offer at them. Seager, 25 years old, one of the two former Tar Heels on this club.
They must do some scouting down in the SEC and the ACC, because they've got a player from Clemson. Smoke is from South Carolina. 2 from UNC, as you said. A kid from Tallahassee Community College. They must have all their scouts down there in that
far away
North
from
Carolina,
home.
South Carolina, Florida area.
About as far from home as they can get them. Ball 4 becomes the first walk of the afternoon for Arroyo.
Well, they're trying to pitch him away, obviously, and just not able to pinpoint that outside corner.
Ibanez, a base hit in front of Heisey out in the left his first time. Base hit in the first inning means Ibanez has a 12-game hitting streak. And a clutch hitter for this team. Bronson 32 pitches in the first inning, approaching 60 now.
The one thing the Mariners doing very well is working Arroyo and making him work out there, throwing a lot more pitches than he's normally used to.
Got it. Well, oftentimes you see players walk back toward the dugout after facing Arroyo, doing just what Ibanez did, kind of shaking their head, wondering what just happened to them.
Well, you don't really appreciate how much that ball moves until you're up there in the batter's box. We see it. You know, he drops his arm down there. He used to only throw his curveball from down there, but this year he began realizing the hitters are getting on it, that every time he dropped his arm, here comes a curveball. So now he's throwing more fastballs from down there to kind of make it harder to guess with. He told me it's only a matter of time before he starts throwing sidearm changeups.
Here's Justin Smoke. First pitch swinging to left. Heisey back, looks up, 2-run homer.
That kid is strong.
7th of the year for Justin Smoke. Second home run of this game for the Mariners. They've hit 5 in this series, and they now lead 3-0 here in the top of the third.
Well, the same pitch that struck out Raul Ibanez was a fastball down and away, and that ball was away but not quite down enough. And Justin Smoke, a big, strong, burly switch hitter, former #1 draft pick. He's a kid from South Carolina that I was telling you about, and he's strong enough to poke it out of here going hoppage. That would be opposite field.
To the uninformed.
It's a description of a home run that you hear in the dugout an awful lot, and that's why some have may never heard it before.
Phillips throws out Chavez, putting an end to the top of the third. The damage done. 2-run homer by Justin Smoke. Best of the AL takes on the best of the NL. Don't miss the action coming up Tuesday, July the 16th at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on Fox. Big happy birthday wish goes out today here at Great American Ballpark. The man who keeps us all in the media informed. Rob Butcher, Director of Media Relations for Cincinnati. Happy birthday, Rob. See, he can't even take time to acknowledge it. He's so busy over there off to our left.
Busy working on those notes, getting them ready for tomorrow.
He and his staff work very hard. Larry Hearns, Jamie Ramsey, interns Justin Long, back behind us for most games. Zach Weber. They do a very good job.
They are on it.
We were talking about the Major League All-Star game coming up in that promo. Just taking a look at the list, there are 30 players who are on the All-Star team for the first time. 17 on the National League side, 13 on the American League side. I don't know if that number's higher or less than normal, but it seems high.
Well, I know that if you look through the ranks of the National League pitching staff, you're going to see a couple of very young rookies on that ball club. Jose Fernandez being one of them, and Matt Harvey from the New York Mets being another one. It is very impressive how young Jeff Locke from Pittsburgh made the All-Star team. He's a rookie. Travis Wood, not a rookie, but first time he's ever made the All-Star team. He leads the league, by the way, Travis Wood, in quality starts this year. I think he's got something like 16 of them. Amazing.
Two at a base hit to start the Reds' first inning. Trying to get it going here in the bottom of the third. 5 in a row now retired by Joe Saunders. Lifetime, he's never won against the Reds. He's 0-2 in 4 starts. Ackley, the converted infielder, tracks that ball down. 2 line drives, 2 out here in the third. Saunders making his third start here at Great American Ballpark. He was here last year as a member of the Diamondbacks right after the All-Star break on the 19th of July. Reds won that game 7-6. He allowed 3 runs in 6 innings, and that was the game, you may remember back, kind of a turnaround game for the Reds. They trailed that game to the Diamondbacks 6-0 after 5½. Came back and won that game 7-6. Saunders started that game for the D-backs. Once he left, things started to fall apart. He had a 1-2-3 second. He's looking to do the same here in the third. Gets it in the air to left field. Ibanez drifts to the wall, and he makes the catch to retire the side. 7 in a row set down by Joe Saunders. We're through 3. Mariners 3-0 leaders.
Sports Ohio. Jim Day with you, and yesterday, Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Aroldis Chapman named to the National League All-Star team. And there were many Reds under consideration, including Latos, Bailey, Bruce, and Chu. And Dusty Baker talked to us before the game, and this is a very cool thing, guys. He said he got a text last night from Bruce Bochy, who will be the National League manager in the All-Star game. And he said, tell your players, Latos, Bailey, Bruce, and Chu, that they were all under heavy consideration for the All-Star game, to be picked for the All-Star game. But it was a tough decision for Bochy, but he says to tell them they were all deserving. Dusty said that Bruce told him that Jay Bruce was probably the hardest decision to make, the hardest guy to leave off the team. But Bruce Bochy, as we know, a very well-liked guy around the league. And Jim and Chris, a very classy move from the National League All-Star manager.
Well, thank you, Jim. That's a good report, and that is true. Bruce Bochy always been considered a class act around baseball, and I know Dusty Baker really appreciated that text message. Bruce, the only one of the four that has gone to the All-Star game before, and you never know. You don't want to wish injury on anyone, but if someone were to get hurt, you never know. One of those guys may end up going.
Well, that'd be an outfielder, obviously, but you know, you're right. I thought that was a very good move by Bruce Bochy to kind of remember the human element part of it. I mean, there's always disappointment. You have a good year, good first half, and you think you might be in consideration. You don't get picked. Well, it's nice to be let down easy.
Now, in fairness to other former National League managers, Dusty said he has on occasion before heard from other managers when there have been players that have been highly considered, that have been close. Not all the time, but he has heard in the past from other managers. Ackley hit into a force play his first time. He is disposed of quickly there by Arroyo, who gets strikeout number 5. Let's turn our attention now to the AT&T trivia question of the afternoon. What former Reds backup catcher played for, coached, and managed the Mariners? That's a good question. What former Reds backup catcher played for, coached, and managed the Mariners? That one forces you to put the old thinking cap on. Anybody come to mind?
I'm still looking for my thinking cap.
Are you? Yeah. Is it in that cabinet over there?
Could be. Haven't seen it for a while, actually.
I think Jesse borrowed it and never returned it. Maybe it's in the back of his trunk. Two out for the pitcher, Saunders. Arroyo looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of this game. Send out belated congratulations to Dusty Baker. The victory yesterday, the 469th of his Reds managerial career, tying him now for third all time. Here's going to be the first 1-2-3 inning of this game for the Reds right-hander. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Seattle leading 3-0. See your Toyota dealer or visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. And what do our camera people do between half innings when there's no baseball ongoing here at the ballpark? They roam the crowd for interesting events. How about this? Doesn't this look like a big old proposal to you? Down on the knee, ring out, head shake yes, kiss. It looks like a marriage proposal to me, as the Hall of Famer would say. Ain't love grand? Yeah, she's pointing at the proper finger. Put it on right there. Oh, it won't fit. I think we've created a love match right here at GABP. Joey Votto will lead it off here in the bottom of the fourth. Votto, Phillips, Bruce. Sounds like a good trio to get things going here against the left-hander Joe Saunders. He allowed 3 first-inning hits. Since that time has set down 7 in a row. Votto a base hit into right his first time. Saunders this year has done much better against left-handers than his career numbers indicate. 200 this year without giving up a home run ball against a southpaw. 239 career against lefties. So he's done much better this year than he has throughout his career. Just does stay alive, Joey Votto. Alan Porter down there at third says no. Joey Votto did not go around. 2-2 count. Here's what Alan Porter is seeing. That was a called strike 3 by Mike Estabrook, sending Votto back to the dugout.
Votto was really choking up on that, figuring that he was going to get a breaking ball, but he'd have to wait very long in order to kind of spoil it. Maybe he just misread that one and thought it was going to drop out of the zone. Perfect spot for Joe Saunders. I mean, you can't lay it out there any better than that.
Second strikeout for Saunders on the game. 8 batters in a row now he has set down. Last man to reach against him is this man, Brandon Phillips. Singled up the middle in the first inning, sending Votto on his way to third. Reds at first and third, 2 out in the first. Bruce hit into a force play to end that inning. Reds have not had a base runner since against the 32-year-old native of Fairfax, Virginia, who played collegiately at Virginia Tech, Joe Saunders. Now he's ahead of Phillips, 2 strikes. Franklin throws out Phillips. 2 out. Batter will be Jay Bruce. Take a look at our lows. Never stop improving. Now it's time for that little feature. We'll take a look at it on Jay Bruce. RBIs by season. On pace for 110 this year. He's never broken 100. He's been to 99. That was last year. 97 a couple of years ago. This year on pace for 110, so let's hope we can get there for the first time.
Boy, Joe Saunders really painting the bottom of that zone.
I mentioned that Arroyo has been pitching well, but this guy Saunders, in his last 6 starts, the team is 3-3. He's had 5 quality starts, and in 4 of those starts has allowed only 1 run.
Yeah, you know, the one bad outing that he had on June the 25th against the Pirates, he gave up 6 runs in just a little over 1 inning and was taken out of the ball game. So that'll really mess up your earned run average and make it tough to show everybody that you're as good. You're throwing the ball as really well as you really are, unless you start looking at him game by game.
Yeah, it's the only bad start he really had in the last, what, 6 weeks.
And you look at his stuff and you're thinking, well, it's very pedestrian. Fastball, you know, 88 to 90. But what he has is really good control of his breaking pitches. In fact, he pitches a lot like Bronson Arroyo.
Shortstop grabs that ball. Miller, and the Reds go down in order for the 3rd consecutive inning. 10 in a row by Saunders. That's Reds Live pregame presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing, right here on your exclusive home of Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio. We'll have more action for you on this upcoming road trip starting tomorrow night at Milwaukee. Reds take on the Brewers Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday afternoon. All games here on Fox Sports Ohio. Tomorrow night, 7:30 Reds Live, 8:10 first pitch. Homer Bailey will make his first start since the no-hitter. He'll be opposed by Kyle Loesch of the Brewers tomorrow night in Milwaukee. Top of the order, Brad Miller leads it off. 2 for 8 in this series for Miller. In this game, he struck out and grounded out. Playable for Chu. Leadoff man gone. 5 in a row by Arroyo. Go back to our AT&T trivia question. Find out if Chris ever found that thinking cap. Did you come up with an
answer?
answer?
I've got an idea of who it might be. A backup catcher for Johnny Bench, who it was, and didn't get to play a whole lot. Of course, behind Bench, it would be Bill Plummer.
There you go. Reds catcher 8 years?
8 years with the Reds, and he was the manager only 1 year. He lost over 90 games as the skipper of the Mariners in 1992. Interesting, really, when you look at that sequence of managers between the late 80s and the early 90s for the Mariners. They have 3 people there who had connections with the Reds. You had Jim Lefevre, who was a former Reds hitting coach for a few years, I think under Bob Boone. And then Bill Plummer took over after 3 years at the helm of Lefevre. And then guess who took over for Bill Plummer? None other than Lou Piniella.
Okay.
And of course, that's about the time that he ushered in the Ken Griffey Jr. era of Seattle Mariner baseball.
The only year that Plummer played for Seattle was the last year of his career, 78, right after he left the Reds. And he went coach for them, and as Chris said, ultimately managed that team for 1 year.
Well, of course, then Junior played for Bill Plummer because he came up to the major leagues in 1989 after being drafted in 1987. In fact, I heard an interesting story about Junior today about the Mariners almost did not draft Ken Griffey Jr. back in 1987 out of Moeller High School. You know, he was taken #1 in the country. And the ownership of the Mariners back then was somewhat, well, they were thrifty. Other ways you may want to say they were penurious. And they were afraid of paying Ken Griffey Jr. too much signing bonus. He was reportedly wanting $160,000, and they were only willing to pay a $100,000 bonus to their first-round pick. And it was the general manager, Dick Balderson, who convinced the ownership to say, you know, let's go the extra money right here. And they were going to pick a guy named Mike Hartke, who ended up being picked 4th in that year by the Chicago Cubs.
I remember Mike. Yeah.
Hartke didn't exactly make the impact on baseball that Junior did, but as it turned out, Seattle drafts Junior, pays a little extra in that signing bonus, and ends up with maybe one of the best players of that generation. You know, it's interesting how $60,000 might have changed the course of Seattle Mariner baseball, because if Junior not played in Seattle and them not did what they did in the early 90s, they went to the playoffs, kind of rejuvenated the whole game of baseball in Seattle, Major League Baseball there, got a new stadium, then you don't even know if there would be a team there right now.
You make a good point. Junior, of course, we mentioned yesterday, will be inducted into the Mariners Hall of Fame later this summer, and certainly 2015, when he is eligible, he'll be a first ballot Major League Hall of Famer in Cooperstown.
That'll be another one of those tests for the Hall of Fame, the voters. I mean, is there anyone who would not vote for Ken Griffey Jr. in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot? Why wouldn't that be a unanimous vote? And I guarantee it probably won't be.
Right.
Just because they don't want anybody going in unanimously.
Well, these are his 2 teams right here, Seattle and Cincinnati. Of course, Chris mentioned from Cincinnati. His dad, senior, still managing in the Reds organization out at Bakersfield. And never once in his career tainted by steroid accusations or even rumored. Ken Griffey Jr. 630, what he ended up with, home runs. Votto makes the play. Another 1-2-3 inning for Arroyo, is now sent down 7 in a row of his own. Girl during this month of July. If you're born and raised in Ohio and you want to be our connection to Ohio sports fans like Sarah and Christine, simply go to girls.foxsportsohio.com to submit an application. The casting call for the next Fox Sports Ohio girl ends on July the 24th. Joe Saunders, former first-round pick by the Angels back in 2002, has set down 10 in a row as he works to Frazier here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and on one pitch he makes it 11 in a row. Frazier struck out, looked bad in doing so back in the 2nd. Hits the first pitch here out into center. That will be Chris Heisey. Bounced out to third his first time.
You know, this is the time of year when you see more and more scouts around the major league teams or following teams for different reasons. One may be an advanced scout, another may be out there trying to find some possible trade candidates. And I imagine that this Seattle ball club is full of trade candidates.
That's a fair ball. That'll snap the streak of 11 in a row by Saunders. Into the left field corner it goes. Ibanez will get it back in, and Chris Heisey comes up with his 6th double of the year. 4th hit of the game for the Reds, their first since the first inning.
Now, the Reds haven't really hit the ball all that hard. They've hit it sharply from time to time today, but this one is really smoked. A hooking line drive inside third base, and Chris Heisey, he grounded out to the third baseman his last time up, so they were expecting him to hit it down that way. Our Munchin's Furniture slow-mo shows Kyle Seager watching it as it goes by. That's about all he could do.
So now it's Hannigan as the Reds try to get on the board here. Gave up a run in the first. Solo home run by Nick Franklin. 2 more against them in the 3rd. 2-run homer the other way by Justin Smoke. 3-0 Seattle lead. Seattle trying to come in here, do what they did back in 2002, which is win a series in Cincinnati back in 2002. They swept the 3-game set over at Synergy. This is the rubber game of this series. Hannigan grounded out to the second baseman Franklin his first time. Started the day right at 200, marking only the 2nd time this year that he had been at or above the Mendoza line. Dropped 1 point below now. Right at the shortstop Miller. Low throw, but a nice scoop on the receiving end by Smoke. 2 out. Now the onus of this inning rests on the shoulders of Bronson Arroyo, much like it did in the 4th inning yesterday for Matt Latos.
Well, there's a lot of white showing at the very end of this play by Smoke. That ball right in the heel of his glove. It's amazing how a good scooper at first base can save a lot of infield errors, save pitchers' pitches, save earned and unearned runs on the board. That's a nice play down there.
Good idea, but right back to the mound, and Saunders stretch and safe at first base. Pulled Smoke off the bag. Arroyo aboard, and the inning still alive here in the bottom of the 5th. That'll be an error on Saunders.
Now both pitchers in this ball game now have errors. Bronson Arroyo made one earlier. This is a throwing error by Saunders. He just pulls the first baseman off the bag.
This goes to show you, you put the ball in play and you never know what'll happen. That brings up Chu now, representing the tying run.
This really changes the whole ball game. A couple key hits right here.
Shoes hit the ball hard both times. Single up the middle to start the Reds first. Lined out to Ackley in the third and center. Reds down 3-0, bottom of the fifth.
Well, it was a mistake pitch yesterday by Jeremy Bonderman to Matt Latos after an intentional walk to Hannigan. Here comes Latos up there, and right down the middle, Bonderman throws one, and Latos proceeds to hit a double, and then all of a sudden the roof caves in on the Mariners. So maybe that error by Saunders here can pay off in favor of the Reds. Boy, he got right in that kitchen that time.
Chu checks his bat to make sure it's not broken or chipped.
You know, he's swinging so late because he's worried about that slow breaking ball from Saunders. They hit that high inside pitch. You got to hit that ball way out in front of the plate. That's why he got jammed.
Chu's 265 on the year. Runners in scoring position. Trying to get it done here against Joe Saunders. First and third, 2 out. Hangs in there.
That was a pretty good one to hit right there. Probably elevated a little bit more than Saunders wanted it. And Chu probably thinking, man, I had the one I wanted to be able to drive to left center field.
To the mound. This time Saunders' throw is on target, and the inning comes to an end. The Reds leave a pair, still down 3-0. Take a look at our Honda game summary. You can get a great deal from your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Seattle jumped in front for the third straight game on a home run in the first. This one by Nick Franklin. His sixth of the year to make it 1-0 M's. In the third, this 2-run shot the other way by Justin Smoke. Number 7 for him. Put Seattle up 3-0. Meanwhile, the left-hander Joe Saunders has allowed no runs, 4 hits. He's got a couple of strikeouts, one of Frazier, and then that one of Votto looking. His only 2 Ks of this game thus far, but he's been in command. Our Honda game summary shows the Mariners through 5, leading 3-0. So Bronson Arroyo back to work. He's walked 1, he has struck out 6. Giving up 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 of them home runs. He's retired 7 in a row. He'll deal with the middle part of the Seattle order. Hitting it off, Raul Ibanez, then Justin Smoke, then Andy Chavez. Ibanez, a native of New York, lives now in Miami. Major leaguer since 1996. Well, he was drafted by Seattle, got into the major leagues in '96 with the Mariners, came back to them from '04 through '08, then went to Philadelphia, then a year of the Yankees, and now back to Seattle again this year. The 3rd go round with the M's for Ibanez. Bruce handles his fly ball, so make it 8 in a row now. Set down by Arroyo. First out, 6th inning.
Boy, Ibanez has seen just about everything that Bronson Arroyo has to offer. He was struck out on a fastball his last time up. That time he saw a 67-mile-an-hour curveball. Approximately 20 miles an hour slower than the fastball that punched him out.
Here's Justin Smoke, one of the 2 home runs that the Mariners have hit today. That home run ball in the first by Franklin means that the Mariners have hit a home run in 15 straight games. 5 home runs in this series, 104 on the year. 15 straight games in which they have homered. Have had 16 come from behind victories this year, and they'll make it 17 here today if they're to win this game and this series. Remember, they came into this homestand having lost 6 of 8 on that recent road trip that took them to Arizona and Oakland and Texas. Votto snares that line drive. Nine in a row by Bronson Arroyo. So far, this homestand has gone pretty well. That one is tailing away from Votto on his glove side. Reds took all 3 games against the Giants, with the 1 game being rained out on the 4th of July. Have split these 2 with Seattle, so 4-1 through what will end up being a 6-game homestand with a 1 postponement, so they can get a win today after a 2-6 road trip. A 5-1 homestand would be pretty good. Going out for the final 7 before the All-Star break beginning tomorrow night in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's why Dusty Baker was trying to be so emphatic to his players about, this swing game right here can be so important in making it a real good homestand versus just a pretty good homestand, especially when you're trying to put a little push on leading up to the All-Star break. Chuck and duck, Bronson.
Well, it looked like it went right over his back as he went through his follow-through and on into center, so that snaps the streak of 9 in a row.
Usually you're trying to get the glove up in the air in time to protect yourself. This ball just comes back on him so quickly that I'll tell you what, by the time he ducked, that ball was by him. He was very fortunate that ball was not another 6 inches lower. That's a scary moment for a pitcher.
Hit number 5 for Seattle. This should end the inning. Force out at second on Chavez puts an end to the top of the 6th inning. Arroyo's been pretty good this afternoon, but trails 3-0. Sunday, July the 21st. You can see the Reds take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at half price with the Reach Magazine family deal. Plus, the first 8,000 youngsters, 14 and under, receive a Mr. Red bobblehead frame thanks to Hamburger Helper. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. You can visit select Kroger locations or log on to reds.com/tickets. That's July the 21st. 2 weeks from today, the next home Sunday game for the Reds. Wrap up of that 3-game series against the Pirates. That's right after the All-Star break. Pirates are underway at home underway at Wrigley Field against the Cubs today. Scoreless through an inning and a half. Cardinals are at home and playing against the Miami Marlins. They are 1-1. The bottom of the second of that game. Reds begin the day 3.5 behind the first place Pirates, 2.5 behind the second place Cardinals. Cozart trying to get something going here in the bottom of the sixth.
In that Cardinal game, that's Jose Fernandez named to the All-Star team, the 20-year-old rookie from Miami going against Lance Lynn, looking for his 11th win of the year.
In the air by Cozart, chased by Ackley to the track, and he gets there. Cozart is 0 for 3. Ackley has handled himself very well out there. Converted infielder who started on opening day for Seattle at second base. Got him playing outfield after a stint in the minor leagues, and he's done a very nice job. Here's Votto. Single and been called out on strikes. One of 2 strikeouts for Saunders today. Well, the Reds had that crack in the first and third, 2 out. First and third, 2 out in the fifth. The only chances they've had against this veteran left-hander, Joe Saunders.
Well, Saunders is a guy, as you watch him pitch, he keeps himself really under control. There's not a lot of excess motion in his delivery, not arms and legs going everywhere, very repeatable. That's why he's been able to pinpoint the ball where he wants to.
Votto appeared fooled on that one, didn't he?
Well, he threw a fastball in the outside corner, then missed with one, and then comes back with a slider there, and Votto read that, obviously, as a fastball. So Votto now will choke up as he normally does, and he'll try to protect against another back-to-back, another strikeout.
Little soft humpback liner to the shortstop Miller. Votto is 1 for 3. There are 2 out. Here's today's IGS Bringing the Energy feature. Brandon Phillips, 13 RBIs of a game-winning nature this year. That leads Major League Baseball. On the other side of things, Seattle, Kendrys Morales has 10. He's tied for second in the American League. It's our IGS Bringing the Energy feature here on Sunday, July the 7th. Phillips today has a hit. He's grounded out, 1 for 2.
point, he's making it look easy. I mean, he's thrown enough strikes that now the hitters are up there looking at pitches that are anticipating strikes and chasing balls down out of the zone. Really, the only threat the Reds have mounted was in the first inning after a ground ball double play that erased Chu. Votto had a scratch hit. A little ground ball that went into right field, and Phillips really had a little scratch hit. There was a ball that was vacated by the second baseman, went right in the spot of the second baseman, and other than that, in the era that Saunders had last inning, the only times the Reds really have threatened.
His highest pitch count, you just saw the pitch count come up there. His highest pitch count inning was the first when he threw 16. Very efficient. Been able to get in first pitch strikes here today. In fact, 17 of 22 first pitch strikes today for Saunders.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier that there are a lot of scouts now following these teams around, and you may just think that the Mariners have a whole bunch. I imagine the Mariners will be more sellers than buyers, given the fact where they are in the standings, almost 13 games out of first place, and a guy like Joe Sanders may be Saunders may be one of those guys that be on somebody's wish list. The better he pitches, the more the Mariners will be able to get in return if he does indeed get traded. Kendrys Morales might be on that list. Raul Ibanez, if you're looking for a left-handed hitting outfielder.
Well, that's what happened to Saunders a year ago. He went to Baltimore and helped them.
A couple of the relievers down the bullpen might be on that list as well.
Miller charges this ball and throws out Brandon Phillips, and a fourth 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon for Joe Saunders.
About him and this whiff brought to you by Head & Shoulders. Down with the head of Old Spice. All 5 of Bronson Arroyo's strikeouts really came on different pitches. Look at the different arm angles, the different speeds. He got them on curveballs, changeups, little breaking ball over the top right there, and even a high outside fastball. So Bronson Arroyo struck out 5, but unfortunately at this point, the Reds are down by 3 as they've yet to put a run on the board. Alfredo Simon will take over for the Reds. Back-to-back appearances. Now, he was in yesterday's ball game. Simon was in the 8th inning when he came in to record 1 out to get the Reds out of that inning. 34 appearances now for the big right-hander.
He will get 8, 9, and 1 in the Seattle lineup here in the 7th. Ackley, the pitcher Saunders, and then Brad Miller. Another note on Bronson Arroyo. Quality start for him, his 13th of the year, his 8th straight quality start here at home. Last non-quality start for him here at Great American Ballpark was on the 6th of May against Atlanta when he gave up 4 runs in 5 innings.
Well, Arroyo came into this ball game leading along with Matt Latos. The rest of the staff with quality starts at 12. The league pace setter is Travis Wood with 16. So pretty good job already for Bronson Arroyo to nail down number 13 today. All they need is a few runs in his behalf, but the bullpen's going to have to do the job in the meantime.
Now Joe Saunders, who struck out trying to bunt back in the 2nd, tapped out in the 4th. We'll try to move the runner along. Ackley, who had a base hit.
He'll definitely be bunting here.
Simon will field. Phillips covers. Sacrifice goes 1-4. And Seattle has themselves a scoring opportunity here in the 7th inning. MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Reds baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and much more. Simply text At Bat to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. Now a chance for Brad Miller. Only 1 RBI on the season for Miller. Just his 9th game at the big league level. Started the year at AA Jackson, went to AAA Tacoma. He, in fact, when he got called up, had an active 22-game hitting streak at Tacoma. Like Matt Carpenter, second baseman of the Cardinals, goes without batting gloves. In this game 0 for 3, in the series 2 for 9. Simon yesterday, Chris mentioned he appeared in the game, only came in for that 1 batter.
He ought to be well rested. I don't know about you, but that hitter at the plate, Brad Miller, reminds me a little bit of Craig Counsell.
Good analogy.
I mean, the way he stands there, and that Counsell used to really corkscrew his body and his hands, but this guy is very upright. You don't see that many hitters standing that tall. And you get a tall guy like that, or at least a batter that stands tall, it would indicate to me, without knowing anything about his scouting report, that he probably likes to hit the low pitch. And that's why I think Alfredo Simon and Ryan Hannigan to try to run that ball upstairs on him. Mariners on the verge of, if they can hold on to this lead, a very successful road trip for them. They took 2 out of 3 in Texas, who were leading the league. You got one of the better teams in the National League right here, and Eric Wedge has seen his ball club right here in the rubber game, leading 3-zip. That's where they're going to go, up the ladder, and they got him.
Nice job by Alfredo Simon to dispose of Miller.
You know, with the way he holds his bat straight up and down like that, it takes him an extra long time to kind of level it out and then get to the high pitch. And he swung right under that fastball, and Simon's got himself a strikeout.
That brings Nick Franklin to the plate. Homer Friday, homer earlier today, 1 for 3 this afternoon. Simon gets ahead. Reds in their 7th, Bruce, Frazier, and Heisey. This half inning ends. We will keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America on this Sunday afternoon. Great American Ballpark. Turns out to be a lovely afternoon. The cloud cover early, but sun has been shining most of the game. Nice to see after threats of rain Friday, threats of rain yesterday, total washout on Thursday.
And the washout on Thursday affected the Reds, obviously, but also affected numerous youth baseball tournaments that are held in the area. I mean, the 4th of July weekend is usually one where sometimes maybe the biggest amateur baseball weekend of the year. 3, 4, 5-day tournaments taking place, and boy, here in the Midwest, they were all soggy.
Reds in their half of the 7th will have Bruce, Frazier, Heisey. Anybody gets on, Hannigan. Seattle still leading on the strength of a home run in the 1st by the man at the plate now, Franklin, and that 2-run homer in the 3rd by Justin Smoke. Got him over the outside corner. Strikeout of Franklin. 2 of them in the inning for Simon. And it is stretch time here at Great American Ballpark. Seattle still in front, 3-0. And as we said, we'll keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America.
It's the American flag. Major League Baseball, the Mariners and the Reds salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome the Elder High School Glee Club as they lead us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Solutions Conference Center here at Great American Ballpark. Let the Reds give new meaning to your company's breakout session. For more information, call the Reds Special Events Department. That number, 513-765-7065.
Pretty cool spot. You ever been in there?
I have. Walked by.
You sneak in there to do copies like I do?
I just poked my head in and checked it out. Joe Saunders been very good in this game. Scoreless through 6, 4 hits, no walks, a couple of strikeouts. He averages about 3 walks per 9 innings, so he's had very good control today. He's had 2 complete games this year. Won a 9-inning effort in a win against Baltimore back on the 29th of April. Most recently on the 19th of June. Bruce gets under this ball and sends it skyward to right, and Chavez handles it for the out. He had a complete game against the Angels on the 19th of June in a 1-0 loss in which he went 8, allowed to run 6 hits. Manny Parra now gets up, starts to throw in the Reds bullpen. Frazier's 0 for 2. He struck out and flied out. Parra joined by J.J. Hoover. Reds need to get some runs on the board here. Bronson Arroyo, quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. But right now stands to be the loser if the Reds don't score some runs. A few times today we've seen Saunders fall behind 2-0. That's what he is now to Frazier. And 3-0.
Well, he's at the point in the ball game that I would imagine he'd rather give up a solo home run than he would a leadoff walk. Of course, there's already one out in the inning, but when you walk a batter, you seem to change the momentum of the inning. You're just going to pour it right in there. I mean, you got a 3-0 lead. You're only trying to cover now 8 outs to go. You're just trying to keep base runners off the bases.
Hammered to right center field. On the run, Ibanez. He's not going to get it. Check that Chavez. That'll be a head-first slide and a double for Todd Frazier. For the Reds, their 5th hit. And the scoring opportunity presents itself here in the bottom of the 7th.
I think Todd Frazier did a little learning experience from his previous at-bats. He went out on strikes the first time, flailed at a bunch of pitches that were out of the zone. He worked this count to 3-1 before he got a pitch up, figuring Saunders didn't want to walk him right there. And another thing that Frazier did was hustle right out of the batter's box, because Endy Chavez played that ball in right field about as well as you could play it. Got it back to the bag, and there was really no play at second base.
15th double for Frazier. Now time is called, and here comes Carl Willis. Pitching coach of the Mariners will visit with everyone save the third baseman Seager out on the mound. Seattle bullpen gets active now. They have both a right-hander and a left-hander up and throwing.
I think what he's trying to do out here is check, first of all, if Saunders is all right. Give the bullpen a little chance to get loose and warmed up as quickly as they can in case the inning begins to go south for him. He'll also remind Saunders that that guy at second base really doesn't mean much in the big scheme of things. The guy at the plate is the hitter that you want to retire right here.
And the lefty Furbush, the right-hander Medina throwing in the bullpen. He had a double of his own back in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2. Very capable of the long ball. He has 3 on the year, 1 since coming off the disabled list. That was against the Giants. He could make this a 1-run game. He gets ahead. Lined into left field. This will get the Reds on the board. Frazier will score easily. Heise has himself his second double of this game as Ibanez gets the ball back in. Heise with RBI number 9. He's hit the ball hard 3 times today. 3-1 game now, and the tying run in the person of Hannigan will come to the plate.
Well, in this inning, Joe Saunders has done something he hasn't done all game long, which is get behind the hitters. This is the 2-0 pitch right there. Frazier hit a 3-1 pitch to start the inning off. Jay Bruce had a 2-0 count.
Mariners have had action in their bullpen. And apparently they're going to stick with Joe Saunders here. Hannigan has grounded out twice against the lefty. He's 0 for 2.
I imagine really either way this might be his last batter.
Eric Robinson is on deck to pinch hit for Alfredo Simon. Both bullpens now double barrel action. Saunders now at 96 pitches. Reds finally break through against the 32-year-old here this afternoon with back-to-back doubles by Frazier and Heise, and looking for more here with Hannigan. Hannigan has 2 home runs this year, and both have been 3-run shots. He couldn't hit one like that now, but it could be a multi-run affair. 2-1.
Well, there's no secret right here that Joe Saunders is not going to challenge Hannigan inside, at least not with a strike. If Hannigan is going to take him deep, he's going to have to go opposite field.
Hard hit to the shortstop. Miller makes the play. Heise forced to stay put at second. 2 out. Robinson announced as the pinch hitter. Derek Robinson will bat for Simon, who goes 1 inning, allows 1 hit. Robinson hitting .256, but more importantly, much better from this side of the plate. .297, batting right-handed. See his pinch hit numbers there, 4 for 15 on the year. Had a hit yesterday, 1 for 5, started out in left.
One of the things that this particular situation, 2 outs, runner at second, down by 2, takes away from Derek Robinson is really one of his weapons, which is laying down a bunt. I mean, they want a base hit that drives a run in right here.
Bounce toward the middle rather. Franklin cuts it off, and the Reds must settle for 1. Into the 8th, still down by a pair. Brought to you by Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Now ranked the #1 pediatric cancer center in the country, according to U.S. News and World Report's 2013 Best Children's Hospitals. And by Chevy. Stop into your Tri-State Chevy dealer today and check out their full line of fuel-efficient vehicles. Reds down 3-1. We go to the 8th inning. As a reminder, stay with us after the game. Fox Sports Ohio will break it down with interviews, including the first thoughts from manager Dusty Baker. That's Reds Live postgame, brought to you by Kings Honda, the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. New pitcher on for the Reds. Their third of the afternoon is Manny Parra.
Manny Parra now gets a chance to pitch 3 games in a row. It's the first time all year long that he's been in 3 consecutive days. He pitched an inning and a third on Friday, pitched 1 inning yesterday. All of them scoreless innings so far, and he's really gotten his stuff under control. Early in the year he struggled, had a couple of bad outings that really inflated his earned run average, but he has been lights out recently. Let's hope he's got enough in the tank.
Well, the appearance yesterday was his 13th consecutive scoreless appearance. Now retired 19 of the last 22 batters that he has faced. Make it 20 of 23 as he gets the first pitch out there off the bat of Kyle Seager.
Well, if you're a left-handed pitcher in the bullpen, and you're the only left-hander that your team has other than Aroldis Chapman, and I'm using like a specialist guy, you better have a rubber arm when you play against the Seattle Mariners, because they've got a whole bunch of lefty hitters on this roster. They had 8 in the ball game today against Arroyo, including their switch hitters.
There's one of the 8 lefties, Raul Ibanez, who had a hit in the first. Now is hitting 12 games in a row. 1 for 3 today. 2 hits, 7 at bats in this series. Parra trying to keep the Reds close. So have the top of the order up in the bottom of the 8th. Trailing now 3-1.
Breaking balls and nothing but breaking balls from Parra so far.
He talked about the amount of work that Parra has been getting. He appeared in 5 of the 8 games on the recent road trip. 1 of the 3 against San Francisco, but now all 3 against Seattle. He's going to get a strikeout here of Ibanez. 2 out.
Boy, a lot of good breaking balls in this at bat. In fact, he kept that breaking ball on Raul Ibanez and nothing but him. But look where those pitches are, down in the zone, down and away. 3/4 arm slot, and he gets his man.
Here's Justin Smoke. His home run now, back in the 3rd, the difference in this game. He's a switch hitter. He'll turn around and bat from the right side. Run back in the 3rd, his 7th of the year. All have come batting left-handed. Near 300 batting left, under 200 at 190 starting this game, hitting from the right side. Still another left-hander. Andy Chavez waits on deck. (3-1) Seattle in the top of the 8th.
They got away with one there. Steady die to break the ball, still even to smoke the switch hitter batting right-handed. We lay one down the middle there, though. That was a long one, but just foul.
Sawed him off, and Cozart makes the play. Nice work by Manny Parra here in the top of the 8th. Reds at the top of the order coming up in the bottom half. Back at the top of the 1st inning. Second batter of the game, Nick Franklin. Right center field. Bruce runs out of room. Home run number 6 for the rookie Nick Franklin. Gave Seattle a 1-0 lead. That's today's Nissan drive of the game. Franklin also hit one on Friday night. 2 home runs in this series for the young man playing second base today. New pitcher on, meanwhile, for the Mariners. This is Charlie Furbush.
And we saw Charlie the other night. I think it was on Friday night that he came into the ball game, and he's all arms and legs. Tall guy with long legs, really whippy arm action. Of course, at the top of the order up. This is the inning we think hope the Reds can get some action going. Checked it between innings how often this Chu-Furbush matchup has happened in the past. And Chu has seen him more than anybody else in this ball club. Actually, he's seen him 5 times overall. Has 1 hit and a couple of strikeouts to show.
Trying to get it going here. Bottom of the 8th. It's Furbush who was brought on to face Chu, in fact, in Friday's game with a runner at second and 2 out. Struck him out. then retired the side in order in the 8th inning. So he had a perfect 1 1/3 on Friday night. Today a hit against the lefty Saunders, who goes 7, 1 run, 6 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts as his line with 101 pitches. Nice effort by Joe Saunders here today. He can win, he cannot lose. Looking for his first career win ever against Cincinnati. He's asking help of his teammate here, Charlie Furbush. He was called out on strikes against Furbush on Friday. He swings and misses here. Out number 1. Batter will be Cozart as we take a look at our Subway in-game box score. Here's that Subway in-game box score. Chu, Votto, Phillips, Frazier have 1 hit. Frazier double scored the only Reds run. Heisey a couple of doubles in this game. Hits are even at 6, but the Mariners lead 3-1. Cozart 0 for 3 in this one, 0 for 9 in the series. 1 for his last 17. He struck out against Furbush on Friday night. Votto waiting on deck. Reds looking for, as Dusty likes to call it, some action here in the bottom of the 8th. $32,669 here, Great American Ballpark this afternoon on this Sunday. 32,669. Charging Miller. 2 out. Well, the Reds have gone down in order 4 times already today. Now they're 2 out, nobody on in the 8th. They've been handled by the lefties, which this year they've done pretty well against left-handers. They came into this game 17-12 against left-handed starters. Here's Votto. Need a base runner to have a chance in the bottom of the 8th. Joey today 1 for 3. Grounded out against Furbush on Friday night. Phillips on deck.
Boy, Votto's got to be surprised about that call right there. I mean, after all, he jumped out of the way of that pitch, and it was called a strike. Boy, he gives you that look of determination, though, doesn't he?
You bet. Seattle has their other lefty, Oliver Perez, and Yorvis Medina throwing in their bullpen. Joey the other way in the air. Ibanez in, nearing the line, and Raul Ibanez makes the play. And for the 5th time today, Reds go in order. game right now. Justin Smoke in the third inning against Bronson Arroyo went opposite field for his 7th home run of the year. The switch hitters hit them all batting left-handed. That made it 3-0 M's in the top of the third. It's 3-1 now. Smoke's home run. Our Miller time moment of the game thus far. New pitcher on, meanwhile, for the Reds. Aroldis Chapman on.
Yeah, we have not seen Aroldis come on too many times in a situation like this when it's a non-save opportunity. His last time out was 4 days ago. That was July the 3rd against the Giants. That was a non-save opportunity. An eventual 3-2 Reds win. All-Stars got 20 saves and 23 times of opportunity out there, and a whopping 59 strikeouts in 35 innings. Aroldis Chapman has just been dealing the strikeout pitch.
He'll come on to try to keep this impressive streak of scoreless innings going for the Reds bullpen, which sits now at 19 2/3 innings over the course of 21 appearances. He gets the lefty Chavez, then Zunino, and then the lefty Ackley. Chavez in this game is 1 for 3. Chapman will be making a second consecutive All-Star appearance. He was with the National League club last year when the game was played in Kansas City. Did get into the game, worked a third of an inning, walked a batter, struck out a batter. Well, the story goes that his mom and dad now are here in the United States, living in the New York area, and they will get to watch him pitch in that game.
A 90-mile-an-hour slider. See the fingers on the side of the baseball? From there, you just pull it straight down.
That's the 10th strikeouts for Red pitching in this game, so you know what this crowd is interested in now. They won number 11 and another night of free pizza. Mike Zunino 0 for 3 today, 1 for 11 in the series. Bronson Arroyo 6, allowed 3 runs, 5 hits. Alfredo Simon 1 inning, no runs, 1 hit. Parra a perfect 8th. Now Chapman here in the 9th. Reds down 3-1. Ball and 2 strikes. Strike away from back-to-back pizza game. Reds pitchers fan 14 yesterday. The magic number is 11 for free pizza. Reds started this series with the most strikeouts out of their pitching staff in the National League. I think these fans don't know that. Number 11. Free pizza for the folks here at the ballpark.
Most strikeouts in this inning for Chapman have come on that slider. I mean, you gear up for that fastball near 100 miles an hour and just hard to stay back.
So strikeout of Chavez, strikeout of Zunino. Now we go back to the lefty Dustin Ackley. Reds in the 9th will have Phillips, Bruce, and Frazier. Trailing hopefully no more than what they trail now, 3-1. Seattle's closer is a right-hander, Tom Wilhelmsen. Figured to see him in the bottom of the ninth. Two-hopper to short. Good job by Chapman. Great job collectively by the bullpen here this afternoon. Phillips, Bruce, Frazier, bottom of the ninth upcoming. We were talking earlier about Ken Griffey Jr. Here he is in '87, back in his high school days at Moeller. A different look to the uniforms back then, particularly the socks. Inside the park home run right there. Ken Griffey Jr. soon to be elected into the Mariners Hall of Fame, Cincinnati native. Surely a first ballot Hall of Famer in Cooperstown in a few more years. Meanwhile, Tom Wilhelmsen comes in to try to save this game for Joe Saunders. "17 saves and 22 save chances for this right-hander. Phillips first.
Yeah, that's his main go-to pitch right there. He's got a good fastball, Wilhelmsen does, but he also has a big overhand curveball. Had 29 saves last year, 73 games overall. He buckles Brandon Phillips with a pitch that misses inside. Brandon thought that was headed for the old noggin.
Here comes Chavez. One out. Crew back on their home field this afternoon, ready to chop down the Portland Timbers. Join Dwight Burgess and Chris Dorn for all the action after Reds Live here at Fox Sports Ohio. Reds have not been given a walk in this game. Saunders no walks in 7. Charlie Furbush perfect 8th. Now Wilhelmsen, and a ground ball to the right side, and Bruce is thrown out. 2 down. Only 2 times this year have they not been given a walk. This year, once back at the end of April by the Cardinals, Jaime Garcia, and then Charlie Morton did it in the middle of June. And here are the Mariners, an out away. coming into Cincinnati and winning this series.
Seemed like a couple of Sundays ago, maybe it wasn't a Sunday, but it was a day game getaway there in Oakland, where A.J. Griffin came on and made it look awfully easy in his outing against the Reds, and that's the way the Saunders made it look today.
And that was the wrap-up of that series out there in Oakland, that Wednesday afternoon game. Griffin threw 108 pitches and a 2-hit shutout. He was dominant that day. That's how this collection of Saunders, Furbush, and Wilhelmsen have been here today. Deep to right, but playable. Chavez has it, and the Mariners come into Cincinnati and take 2 out of 3 from the Reds as they win on this Sunday afternoon by the final score of 3-1. Bronson Arroyo had a quality start, suffers the loss. He's now 7-7. Joe Saunders gets his first ever victory against the Reds. 1-2 lifetime against Cincinnati. He is 7-8 on the year. 3-1 final. Seattle a winner. Reds Live postgame presented by King's Honda. Up next.